Most people feel like life is moving too fast, as if the hours slip away and nothing truly important gets done. They believe the reason they aren't moving forward is because the world is overwhelming, deadlines never end, and time is always short. But the real challenge isn't outside, it's inside. Life doesn't organize itself. Growth doesn't happen by accident. Progress is never a matter of luck. It's driven by intention, by structure, by clarity. If you don't design the order of your days, distractions will do it for you. And when that happens, your energy scatters, your vision blurs, and your goals fade into the background. Every single day lived without direction is a day slipping quietly through your fingers. You don't need more hours. You need more focus. You don't need to do everything. You need to do the right things. When you take control of your time, you're not just managing minutes. You're shaping your destiny. Success isn't a finish line somewhere far away. Success is built in the daily choices you repeat consistently. And the moment you decide to claim that control, everything shifts. Your mind settles. Your energy rises. Your path becomes clearer. Because here's the truth. Once you create inner order, the world stops pushing you around. Instead, it begins to open doors for you. Organization isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. It's what separates those who move forward from those who stay stuck. Too many live reactively. They wake up late, rush from task to task, forget commitments, miss opportunities, and collapse into bed, not even knowing where the day went. And still, they think they need more motivation. But what they really need isn't motivation, it's structure. Without it, their energy leaks, their mind gets clouded, and their vision dissolves. The turning point is a decision. A choice to stop improvising and to start treating every detail of the day, no matter how small, as a piece of the bigger picture. That begins with time, not an obsession with clocks, but a respect for them, because time is your most precious resource. Yet most people spend it as if it were endless. It isn't. Every minute without direction is a lost chance you'll never get back. So sit down and design your day. Ask yourself, what time do I rise? What do I do in my first hour? What patterns am I repeating that add no value? At what moments am I at my best, my sharpest? You can't improve what you don't measure. And if you don't structure your days, you'll keep running in circles. But remember, order isn't only about time. It's also about space. Look around you. Your environment is a mirror of your inner state. A messy room signals a scattered mind. The place where you rest, work, eat, or think should lift you up, not drag you down. It's not about perfection. It's about support. Every tool should be within reach. Every object should have a place. Every corner should help you move forward, not keep you stuck. Your physical space is your first ally, not your silent enemy. And here's something deeper. The clutter you tolerate in your surroundings is a reflection of the clutter you tolerate in your habits, your thoughts, your finances, your emotions, your goals. Order is freedom. It doesn't limit you, it releases you. It creates room for rest, for clarity, for smarter decisions. It gives you confidence, because you're no longer reacting to chaos. You're steering your life with purpose. And this doesn't make you boring. It makes you powerful, because the person who commands their time, their environment, and their choices also commands their future. In today's world, where most people are distracted and scattered, the one who lives with structure shines. They earn respect. They inspire trust. They get results, not because of temporary emotion, but because of a system that carries them forward day after day. And that system is built when you commit to order, even when it feels uncomfortable at first. Because inside that effort lies the seed of transformation. An organized life isn't made of wishful thinking. It's made of systems. And a system is nothing more than smart decisions repeated consistently. Dreaming big without structure creates frustration. Brilliant ideas without discipline, stay unrealized. Natural talent, without focus, gets wasted on unimportant tasks. And that's why months, even years, pass for so many people, and nothing changes. But when you create order, everything changes. You begin to separate what's essential from what's just noise. You learn that not all actions are equal. Some bring progress, others only consume energy. Some build your vision, others just keep you busy. The average person confuses activity with productivity. They run all day, collapse at night, but move little in reality. You can't afford that anymore. You need clarity. You need focus on what truly moves the needle forward. Ask yourself, which actions actually create growth? Which habits keep my energy high? Which choices give me real results right now? Those must become your top priorities. Everything else should be postponed, delegated, or eliminated. Right now, decide on your 3 daily priorities. Not 10, not 23. The most important ones. Write them down the night before and the next morning, before you open messages, before you check social media, before you let the world interrupt. Do them. Put your growth first, always, because when you handle the essential before the urgent, your entire life begins to transform. You regain clarity, you regain peace, and most importantly, you regain control. Saying yes to everything is one of the fastest ways to lose yourself. If you don't set boundaries, you'll always end up living by someone else's agenda. The truth is, every yes to what doesn't matter is a no to what does. That's why the most organized, effective people aren't the ones who do the most. They're the ones who do the right things. And to do the right things, you need space. You need focus. You need the courage to protect your time and energy from distractions that don't serve your vision. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to build something meaningful. That requires filters. That requires decisions. That requires strength. Here's something powerful to remember. It's never about how much time you have. It's about how you use the time you've been given. Every single person gets the same 24 hours. The difference is never the quantity. The difference is the intention. There are people who transform their health, wealth, and mindset with just 2 extra hours a day because they use them wisely. While others complain about being too busy, these people are already executing. They understand that time is neutral. What matters is how you spend it. When you structure your days with intelligence, your energy multiplies, your mind sharpens, and your results accelerate. Without structure, life feels like a game of chance. With structure, life feels like progress. That's why you need rituals. Not rigid routines that box you in, but intentional anchors that give you stability. You need focus blocks. You need reflection time. You need physical and mental order, because all of these feed each other. A clear calendar creates mental clarity. A tidy room generates calm. A focused mind makes stronger decisions. When your life is ordered, you become unstoppable. Not because you're perfect, but because you know where you're going. That becomes your standard. Not doing more, but doing what matters, with focus, intention, and discipline. And that's how you rise above chaos. That's how you step into freedom. That's how you turn your days into momentum. But order is not only about tasks and schedules, it's also about your environment, especially the people you surround yourself with. Think about it. No matter how disciplined you are, if your closest relationships drain your energy, distract you, or sabotage your growth, your progress will slow down. Many underestimate this truth. They think they can thrive while surrounded by negativity, constant complaints, or endless drama. But carrying people who weigh you down is like running with a backpack full of stones. You might manage for a while, but eventually it breaks you. If you want true order in your life, you need it in your relationships too. Ask yourself, does this person inspire or discourage me? Do they challenge me to grow, or make me comfortable with staying the same? Do they fuel my vision or blur it? This isn't about cutting people off coldly. It's about protecting your energy, because after time, your energy is your most valuable resource. If you waste it on endless complaints, toxic conversations, or people who don't support your vision, your whole system falls apart. Disorder shows up in human form too, and it takes courage to notice it. But remember, it's not only about walking away from what limits you. It's also about leaning into what lifts you. Surround yourself with people who live with clarity, who value their time, who take care of their energy, who talk about possibilities instead of problems. When you're close to people who operate with vision and focus, you naturally begin to absorb their energy. Their presence demands more from you. Their example inspires you. Their discipline raises your own standards. And if you can't find such an environment, build it. Create your own spaces. Be intentional about what you consume online, what voices you allow into your head, what conversations you choose to join. Every piece of content you let in has an effect. If you don't filter, you get scattered. If you get scattered, you lose focus. And when focus is gone, growth slows. That's why truly organized people are selective people. They know what to say yes to, and they know what to reject. And above all, they know who they want to walk with. Because you can't build a powerful life if you're surrounded by constant confusion. You can't rise while carrying other people's chaos. You're designed for more. To reach that higher version of yourself, you need clarity, mental clarity, emotional clarity, financial clarity, and relationship clarity. Every area is connected. Every area influences the other. That's why the people around you are not just part of your environment, they're part of your system. And if you want your system to work, you need to design it intentionally. Protect your energy, choose your circle wisely, and remember, order in your relationships is not pride, it's responsibility, it's vision, because your environment is always a reflection of your choices. And when your choices align with greatness, your environment begins to reflect that greatness too. Order isn't only about your calendar, your priorities, or your relationships. It's also about your finances. Because no matter how disciplined you are with your habits, how strong your mindset is, or how focused your routine may be, if your personal economy is in chaos, you'll always carry stress, anxiety, and insecurity. True growth cannot exist without financial stability. There is no peace when every expense feels like a burden. There is no freedom when your money disappears faster than you can track it. And here's the truth. Financial order has nothing to do with how much you earn. It has everything to do with how you manage what you already have. Some people have good incomes, but they sabotage themselves by spending without a plan, buying on impulse, or chasing status symbols that impress no one in the long run. They wonder why they never move forward. The answer is simple. You can't create lasting success if your money habits are unstable. Wealth is not just about earning, it's about control. Money is not everything, but it touches nearly everything. It influences your opportunities, your decisions, your mental health, and your confidence. That's why financial order is not about punishment, it's about power. The first step is clarity. You must face your numbers honestly. Write down what comes in, what goes out, and exactly where it goes. No excuses. No self-deception, just awareness, because you can't fix what you don't measure. Then, build a budget that respects your vision. Cut the leaks, the unnecessary habits that drain your freedom. And, no matter how small the amount, commit to saving something, 5%, 10%, whatever you can. The act of saving is less about the money itself and more about the mindset it builds. It trains you to put tomorrow above temporary pleasures today. Financial discipline is self-respect. It's the ability to tell yourself, I don't need everything now. I'm building something bigger. Because if you can't live on less than what you earn, no salary increase will ever be enough. Without control, higher income just leads to higher chaos. Think about it. The people who achieve real financial freedom aren't the ones who spend to prove something. They're the ones who manage with intention, who treat money as a tool, not as a toy. And here's the deeper truth. Your finances are a mirror of your inner structure. If you are scattered in your thoughts, you'll be scattered with your wallet. If you're careless with your time, you'll likely be careless with your spending. By organizing your money, you're also organizing your mind. You're training yourself to think long-term, to delay gratification, to make conscious decisions. This skill alone can transform your entire life, because financial clarity brings emotional clarity. Once you know you're in control, the stress drops, the focus rises, and the opportunities open. You're no longer just surviving, you're directing. Remember, money is not about greed. It's about freedom. It's about peace. It's about choices. And when you learn to manage it wisely, it becomes a foundation for everything else you want to build. So, take your finances seriously. Create order. Eliminate the meaningless. Prioritize the valuable. And commit, no matter how much you earn, to living with financial clarity. Because when your money is aligned with your purpose, your entire life aligns with your purpose. But financial structure alone isn't enough. To sustain momentum, you also need a daily routine that strengthens your body, sharpens your mind, and centers your spirit. Many underestimate this. They think routine is boring, repetitive, unnecessary. But in reality, routine is one of the greatest secrets of successful people around the world. A good routine is not a prison. It's a runway. It doesn't restrict your freedom, it multiplies it. Without a routine, your days start in chaos, full of hesitation and wasted energy. But with a routine, you step into each day already aligned with your vision. Think about your mornings. How do they begin? Do you wake up late, grab your phone, scroll through distractions, and rush into the day without direction? Or do you rise with intention, breathe, move, think, and prepare your mind for what's ahead? Your first hour defines your next 23. If you start in disorder, the whole day carries that weight. But if you start with clarity, the rest of the day follows that rhythm. And it doesn't require magic formulas or endless rituals. Just simple, powerful habits done consistently. Wake up earlier. Drink water. Move your body. Read something that feeds your mind. Write down your top priorities. Practice gratitude. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for consistency. Because consistency, not intensity, is what creates transformation. After that, structure your working hours. Divide your day into blocks. Work with focus. Rest with intention. Learn with purpose. Stop mixing everything at once. Multitasking feels productive, but it robs you of depth. Focus on one thing, give it your best, finish it, and then move to the next. Each block of your day should have a clear owner. Work, growth, rest, or reflection. Otherwise, laziness and distractions will take ownership for you. And when the day ends, don't close your eyes in chaos. Create a nightly ritual. Review your progress. Write down what went well and what didn't. Plan the next day. Express gratitude. Disconnect from noise. Give your mind the signal that it's time to recharge. That's how you teach yourself. I am in command. I am structured. I am building momentum. And over time, this becomes your natural state: confidence, clarity, and progress. If there's one thing that defines the quality of your life, it's this: your attention. Because your life is ultimately the sum of what you focus on. If your attention is constantly scattered, jumping from distraction to distraction, then your results will always be fragmented too. It doesn't matter how big your goals are or how clear your vision seems. Without focus, nothing gets executed with depth. And this is one of the greatest challenges of our era. People no longer struggle with lack of resources. They struggle with lack of concentration. We live in a storm of notifications, endless scrolling, constant interruptions. And then we wonder why we feel drained at the end of the day without having achieved anything meaningful. The answer is simple. Our attention was stolen. But here's the good news. Focus is not something you're either born with or not. Focus is a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained. You must decide when to disconnect from the noise. You must create sacred spaces for deep work, for silence, for reflection. Otherwise, you'll always live in reaction, bouncing between distractions, doing things halfway, and collecting frustration instead of results. A person without focus is like an archer shooting arrows without looking at the target. Plenty of movement, but no impact. Activity without achievement. Energy without progress. So, how do you reclaim your focus? You start by eliminating the leaks. Silence the groups that don't add value. Remove the apps that entertain but don't build. Set fixed times for messages, emails, and content consumption. Don't be a slave to your devices. Make your devices work for you. Every interruption, even a small one, breaks your flow. And when flow breaks, your momentum collapses. Protect your flow like treasure, because it is. This doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world. It means living with awareness, choosing moments for focus, guarding your time as if it were gold, because it is. Deep work requires protection. True growth requires depth. And an extraordinary life can only be built with extraordinary focus. The world rewards those who can concentrate, those who can sit down for hours to solve a problem, those who aren't afraid of silence, those who train their mind to hold attention when others run from it. Because silence isn't empty, it's where the most powerful ideas are born. Create rituals for focus. For example, dedicate the first hour of every morning to your most important project, before you speak to anyone, before you check anything. Just you, your mind, and your mission. At first, it will be uncomfortable. You'll feel restless. You'll want to check your phone. Resist it. Stay with it. Every extra minute you hold your focus is a victory. And those victories compound until focus becomes your natural state. In a world addicted to distraction, the one who masters focus masters their future. Because where your attention goes, your life follows. If your attention is scattered, so is your life. If your attention is directed, so is your destiny. And here's the best part. You don't need special talent for this. You only need intention, discipline, and the courage to say no to what doesn't serve you. Every day, you can train focus the same way you'd train a muscle. The stronger your attention, the more powerful your creativity, your problem solving, and your ability to impact the world. So cleanse your mental environment. Remove what's unnecessary. Simplify your spaces. Create conditions for clarity. Because when you protect your focus, you protect your power. And once you combine that power with structure, purpose, and emotional balance, everything changes. You no longer react. You direct. You no longer drift. You steer. You no longer live scattered. You live awake. But here's something crucial. Focus alone isn't enough. You must also learn to bring order to your emotions. Because no matter how detailed your plan is, no matter how structured your routine, if your emotions control you, they will sabotage your progress. Many people believe organization is only about logic and strategy, but your emotional world is the invisible foundation of your entire life. Without emotional clarity, you can't be consistent. Without emotional stability, you can't make wise decisions. Without inner peace, you can't create lasting success. Emotions aren't your enemy, and they aren't your guide either. They're signals. Each one carries a message. Anxiety, it's telling you to realign. Anger, it's pointing at something unresolved. Sadness, it's asking for reflection. The key is to listen to your emotions without becoming a prisoner of them. This is where maturity begins. understanding that you are not what you feel. You are the one who chooses how to respond to what you feel. Too many people live trapped in emotional cycles. They get inspired, they act. They hit a setback. They collapse, they quit, they restart. And then they repeat it again. That's not weakness. It's a lack of emotional structure. Because positive feelings are wonderful, but they don't last forever. What carries you long-term isn't the emotion of the moment. It's your ability to keep moving forward even when the motivation fades. That's the strength you build through emotional order. A practical way to begin is by creating a space each day for introspection. Just a few minutes at night to review. How did I feel today? What triggered me? What inspired me? What drained me? Write it down. Because what isn't named becomes buried, and what's buried turns into patterns that repeat themselves unconsciously. Once you see your emotional patterns, you gain the power to shift them, to replace them, to rise above them. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about channeling them, turning sadness into reflection, anger into fuel, anxiety into redirection. This is emotional intelligence. This is emotional organization. And when you live this way, your external order gains roots. Because no matter how neat your schedule looks, sooner or later inner chaos will leak out if you don't deal with it. Peace is not an accident. It's built. And when you cultivate inner peace, you gain the greatest anchor in life. That's why true organization is not only mental, it's emotional. Not only external, it's internal. And when your inner world is in order, your outer world falls into place. No matter how disciplined you are, how many systems you create, or how strong your routines become, there's one factor that will either accelerate your progress or pull you backward: your relationships. The people you surround yourself with shape your mindset, your standards, and your vision. They either elevate you or drain you. They either encourage your best self or remind you of your weakest habits. That's why if you want to design a powerful life, you must also design your environment. And your environment begins with people. Take a moment to reflect. Who are the 5 voices that most influence your daily life? Who shapes your decisions, your moods, your priorities? Who pushes you toward growth? And who keeps you comfortable in stagnation? Not every long-standing relationship belongs in your future. Some connections may feel familiar, but familiarity does not always equal alignment. It's not about judgment. It's about responsibility. You owe it to yourself to protect your vision. Many people stay stuck because they allow relationships to normalize mediocrity. Friends who celebrate when they quit. Colleagues who mock their discipline. Family members who project fear and doubt instead of belief. A partner who prefers comfort over growth. You can't change other people, but you can change your boundaries. And boundaries are not about rejection. They are about protection. Define your values. Define what you allow. Define what you refuse. And enforce those boundaries through action, not just words. When you respect yourself, your environment reorganizes itself. Those who align will stay. Those who don't will naturally drift away. Healthy relationships are not based on neediness. They're based on shared vision, mutual support, and respect. This doesn't mean isolation. It means intentional connection. Seek out those who live with focus, who are already walking the path you aspire to. Learn from them. Let their example stretch you. And if you don't have such people nearby, create that environment digitally. Follow voices that remind you of discipline, of vision, of responsibility. Read books that strengthen your character. Listen to mentors who make you think bigger. The voices you consume daily eventually shape your own inner voice. And never forget, the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. External disorder is often a reflection of an inner battle. If you're harsh with yourself, if you constantly break your own promises, if you demand perfection without compassion, you create inner friction that no external structure can fix. Learn to speak to yourself with patience, with faith, with long-term vision. Treat yourself as someone worth believing in, because when you're at peace with yourself, you need less from others, and that makes you stronger, freer, and more focused. Order in your relationships brings order in your habits, your productivity, and your confidence. When you're surrounded by people who inspire you, it feels like having the wind at your back. Progress becomes smoother, energy multiplies, your vision sharpens. But here's the deeper truth. Organization is never just about schedules, routines, or relationships. At the core, it's about purpose, because it's possible to have the most structured day, the cleanest environment, the sharpest routine, and still feel empty inside. Why? Because you're moving, but not in the direction of your soul. True order begins when you know your why, when you know what kind of person you want to become, what kind of life you want to live, what kind of legacy you want to leave. Purpose is the ultimate filter. Everything that aligns with it stays. Everything that doesn't is removed. And here's something important. You don't need to have your purpose perfectly defined from the start. It may feel unclear at first. It may even evolve as you grow. That's okay. What matters is that you're asking the question, what am I building this for? Living on autopilot is the real danger. Filling your days with endless tasks without ever asking if they matter. Like a pilot flying an airplane, you don't need to hold the perfect course every second, but you do need to know the destination. And that's why constant review, reflection, and adjustment are essential. Make purpose your compass. Every time you face a decision, ask, does this move me closer to the life I want or further away? Even if you don't know the exact answer, the act of asking raises your awareness. Because when you live with awareness, your energy shifts, your environment responds, your decisions gain weight, and life begins to feel less like chaos and more like direction. You don't need more hours. You don't need the perfect moment. You don't need luck. You need clarity of purpose and the courage to order your life around it. When you align with that clarity, your habits make sense, your focus deepens, your discipline strengthens. You stop running in circles and start moving in a straight line toward what matters. And that's the kind of order that transforms everything. Order is not about perfection. It's about direction. It's about building a system strong enough to support you when life gets messy, because it will. The world will always throw challenges, but when your inner world is structured, you won't collapse. You'll bend, adjust, and keep moving forward. Every piece of order you create, whether in your time, your finances, your relationships, or your emotions, becomes a building block. And brick by brick, those building blocks create the foundation of a life that is intentional, powerful, and unstoppable. But here's the truth. You don't need to fix everything at once. Transformation doesn't come from waiting until conditions are perfect. It comes from starting where you are, with what you have. Maybe today it's your schedule. Maybe tomorrow it's your room. Maybe next week it's your finances. The important thing is to start, because waiting for the right moment is just another form of procrastination. And the longer you wait, the higher the cost of disorder becomes. Greatness is not built in one leap. It's built step by step, decision by decision, habit by habit. Even if you stumble, even if progress feels slow, as long as you are moving with intention, you are no longer drifting. You are steering. You are directing. And that's what separates creators from spectators. Spectators wait, creators build. This journey is not about becoming hyperproductive or robotic. It's about becoming meaningful. It's about living with vision, with purpose, with awareness that your time is finite and your energy is precious. You are not here to simply survive days filled with distractions, unfinished tasks, and endless noise. You are here to create something worth living for, to build a story that reflects who you truly are. And that story won't write itself. It requires structure, clarity, and courage. It requires the decision to stop postponing and to start directing. Maybe no one taught you this. Maybe you grew up surrounded by disorder. Maybe chaos became your normal. But today you know better. Today you see the truth. Order is not boring. Order is freedom. Order is power. Order is respect for yourself and your potential. Because when everything in your life has its place, you finally find yours. So don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for perfect timing. Begin now. Close the gaps. Simplify your world. Create systems that support you. Build habits that strengthen you. And protect your focus, your energy, your peace. Because the person who organizes their life transforms their life. And when they transform their life, they transform everything around them. Their home, their work, their legacy, their future. That person can be you. That person is you, if you choose it today. Order isn't a destination. It's a practice. It's a daily act of self-respect. And each time you choose it, you prove to yourself that you are capable, disciplined, and worthy of the life you envision. So take command. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Because once you choose order, you choose clarity. Once you choose clarity, you choose direction. And once you choose direction, you choose results. This is your moment. This is your chance. Step into it now.